Now to Trend Watch 777. Shout out to my new subscribers. Welcome to my channel. Now imagine being approached by someone who claimed to be a police officer only to be found out that they allegedly weren't who they supposed to be. All right, so today I'm going to be talking about Jonathan Willard. And here's a brief summary of this story. So authorities in Atkin County, South Carolina, say Jonathan Willard was arrested after allegedly kidnapping a young woman while posing as a law enforcement officer. The victim reportedly escaped and ran for help. Sheriff officials described the case as highly unusual, with one investigator stating, "I haven't seen anything like this" during his law enforcement career. Now, authorities are asking anyone who may have had similar encounters to contact investigators. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you two videos. The first video is of the young woman running from the woods onto the highway where a truck driver, she found safety in this truck driver. So let's switch over here and get into the story.
Saw someone ran out, like coming out of the woods. But they wasn't coming out of the woods. They were coming out one of the little side dirt roads. There was a 2-lane highway. And when the person came out of the dirt road, came out of that road, they ran straight across the road to the other side. Then there was a car about a second later, came zooming after them to the other side of the road. I noticed it was a young lady doing the running. And she came up to my truck. She came in front of the truck. Then it was like the guy was trying to run up, sandwich her between my truck and his car. So then she came up to my truck and said, "Please help me. He's trying to kidnap me." The guy looked very angry. When he pulled up to me, he said, And
look, he have a perfect, got him, 4K. Just like that. That's a perfect shot. So number one, thank God he was on the road at that time. And then number two, he had his dash cam on. So that's good. And he looked so just dirty. Looked like he crawled out from out of the woods, out of a hole somewhere.
"I'm with law enforcement." He showed me a badge like sideways. And he said, "I'm with law enforcement." And she jumped out of my car. By that time, she was scared, I guess, because he was that close to me and her. Another car was coming in the preceding traffic. So she ran up that way. Then me and the young lady now standing in the middle of the road because we got traffic stopped both ways. Now traffic is starting to come. And so I asked her, I said, "What happened?" She said, "I was walking and he came up behind me and told me he was law enforcement and he needed to take me to the police station for questioning or something like that nature that she said. And he put handcuffs on me and put me in the back of his car." So I said, "I'm here now. We're here. He's not going to bother you anymore." And then he stormed out of that road and went toward the town of New Ellington. If I was 1 minute earlier, they would have been stealing that dirt road and I never would have saw him. If I was 1 minute, if I was 1 minute later, he would have caught her. So it was timing. That wasn't nothing I could have timed. That had to have been God.
It was God. It was God. It was God. I mean, I get chills just hearing about this story. So I'm glad that he was on the road at that exact time, an exact moment. And I'm also glad that he helped the young lady instead of turning her away or, not really know what's going on and don't want to get involved, and kept going about his merry-go way. So I'm glad he did stop, and I'm glad that he didn't take the word of that alleged or that fake officer. So here is another news coverage of it. I'm going to switch over here and let's get into this.
Exclusive dash cam video of a woman in Aiken County trying to escape her alleged kidnapper. Tonight, the sheriff's office is looking for people who may have had similar run-ins.
And if you have, police say you need to call them. We first told you yesterday about this man, Jonathan Willard. He was arrested over the weekend for impersonating a law enforcement officer and kidnapping. That's after a woman says she was walking along an Aiken County road last Friday when she says Willard claimed he was a police officer, put her in handcuffs, and put her in his car.
Tonight, your Liz Owens joins us live from the newsroom. Liz, when the sheriff's office sent this out, they were asking for anyone who may have had a similar interaction with Willard to come forward. Have they gotten any calls tonight?
Right. They actually sent that 5 days ago, and I checked, and as of a couple hours ago, the answer is no. They have not received any calls.
FBI data of missing persons in 2022 shows stranger abductions are rare. About 0.05% of missing persons report were coded abduction by a stranger.
Again, these are extremely rare.
Abductions by a stranger pretending to be a cop.
You know, I've done this for a long time and I haven't seen one like this.
But if the dash cam clip spiked your anxiety and had you clutching your car keys, Major Jason Griffin has a few simple ways to keep you safe.
Our plainclothes deputies do not stop people for minor traffic violations.
That doesn't mean to blow past the stop sign. It just means Major Griffin isn't going to pull you over himself.
If they see a traffic violation, or let's say they see somebody walking down the street, they, sees committing a violation, but it's a minor violation, they're going to call in a marked patrol car to make that stop.
And if you're not sure who you're dealing with,
we all have a badge number, which is something we readily know. Ask them what their badge number is. If they're having to fumble with coming up with a badge number, that could be a sign.
What's your badge number?
5348.
And if you're the type who double checks the door,
Steve didn't hesitate at all.
And then double checks again.
Given his badge number, when she asked him, what's your badge number? He said 5348. And that's how it should be. You that's information like your name. You should be able to recite your badge number when asked for it. And they also said, what was he supposed to do? I don't know if he stopped the lady for some kind of traffic violation, or if she was just walking on the side of the road. Well, but the way she was dressed, I'm assuming that she had her own vehicle. But once she was in the back seat, or he tried to put her in the back seat and with the handcuffs on, I don't think there's very much he could have done as far as a verification process. She couldn't videotape him or ask to call the sergeant, because he's not going to do that. So we definitely have to be careful and be vigilant. And I'm thinking once he had her in those handcuffs, then I'm assuming that she didn't make it completely into the back seat of his car, because she was able to run away. So that's also by the grace of God that she was able to do that, and do it in such a way and do it while she was handcuffed, because I believe it's difficult to pick up a full speed run while your hands are cuffed behind you. You can't pick up much momentum. But when fear kicked in, she did good getting away at the speed that she did.
Not only ask them for their badge, but also ask them for their photo ID credentials.
Can I see yours?
Yeah.
But chances are you've got something the woman in this video didn't.
Her phone was dead.
A working phone.
The easiest and most beneficial way to verify that person is a law enforcement officer by calling 911. Because if a deputy gets out with somebody, whether it's on a traffic stop or in somebody walking down the street, that information is going to be relayed to the dispatch center over the radio. So the dispatcher is going to have that information available.
Dispatch isn't just the control tower for the sheriff's office. It's the big brother watching in real time.
And finally, some advice, something I've actually done before myself. If you're unsure who it is and don't want to roll down your window, turn on your flashers, drive slowly to the nearest police station.
some valuable advice there, especially for people who may not be sure if it is a law enforcement officer there. So it's always good to double check, ask for that badge number there. But it's just watching that video over and over again. It's something that it's one of the worst nightmares that you could imagine if you're in that situation. So she's lucky to be alive. That's what one deputy there on scene said.
Absolutely. And thankful for those witnesses, that truck driver there at the right time.
Yeah, thank God for all of them. Well, here's another video. Let's watch this. I wasn't planning on watching this, but let's see what Dr. Richie has to say. And shout out to Indisputable with Dr. Rashad Richie for this video here. I haven't watched his video.
What if I told you that a white male attempted to kidnap a black child, girl, and thankfully we have the best outcome imaginable from.
Well, he said a black child. When people say child, I'm thinking about a child. This looks like a grown woman.
Such a nightmare. Here it is.
A woman in handcuffs sprinting down a South Carolina road.
Hey, we got a girl over here running for her life.
Watch the woman race toward this semi-truck with a swerving car right behind her.
Seemingly that car was trying to run that person over.
The truck's driver, Anthony Moore, telling me that he was driving Friday morning in Aiken County, South Carolina, when that woman suddenly emerged from the woods.
She ran up to my truck and said, "Please help me. He's trying to kidnap me."
You can see the man here, identified by investigators as 39-year-old Jonathan Willard. According to a sheriff's office report, the victim says Willard approached her while she was out on a walk, claiming to be with the police. He placed her in.
Oh, okay. So she was not in her vehicle. She was out on a walk. So that's how that happened. And I want to say, like I keep saying, I get chills every time I watch this video. And it's just truly by the grace of God that truck driver was placed in that in that area, in that position right then and right there.
Handcuffs, then into the rear of his car. The victim says she believed him at first, but got suspicious when he kept asking the same questions. Eventually, Willard pulled over, according to the report, and that's when the victim made her remarkable escape, running to the road and to more. Did you, for even a split second, think this was a legitimate law enforcement officer?
No, sir. His face looked dirty. He was smoking a cigarette, had a cigarette hanging out of his mouth.
Willard has since been arrested and charged with impersonating a law enforcement officer and with kidnapping after this disturbing scene caught on camera.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Unimaginable to most. Put it up full mass.
Wow. Wow.
39-year-old Jonathan Willard was arrested on May 30th after impersonating a law enforcement officer in order to kidnap a black teenage child, a girl. Reports say Willard approached her in an apartment complex and told her he was with the police, placed her in handcuffs and in the back of his car. Before I continue with this story, why would a teenage child believe this is normative police practice? Because it is. That's why. No reason for the arrest. No articulation of why you're being placed in handcuffs. Nothing. This is why a distinction with law enforcement could have been significantly beneficial if law enforcement made the distinction and acted in a way that was professional. She could have said,
what he's saying, but there has been too many cases where we have some crooked law enforcement officers out there. So whether they was dressed in a professional manner and made that a distinction, it's still good to be wary of them because we have some corruption in law enforcement. So it does matter how they present themselves, but you can also present yourself in a manner that is acceptable, but you still crooked.
Well, why are you placing me under arrest? The fake officer would have no reason. An officer would give a reason. But because officers typically...
Not necessarily. Like I said, there's not fake. There's corrupt officers out there. And even if she did ask him for a reason why she was being placed under arrest or being placed in handcuffs, and if he was smart and studious on his feet, he could have came up with anything, you know. And I don't believe this is his first time because he came prepared with handcuffs, and I don't know if they searched his trunk, but I wonder if he had some, a kit back there to help him carry out his evil deeds.
Do not, because officers typically would simply arrest or incarcerate or handcuff someone without explanation. Everything seems quite normal to a teenage child. There's more. She went on to say that this fake cop, Willard, told her he was taking her to the police station, but he reportedly backed up to an unmarked gated driveway and got out of the car. The woman tried to get out of the car, but found the back doors were not open. She went out the driver's side door while Willard, the fake cop, was looking for tools in his...
They said the woman tried to get out of the car but found the back doors would not open. She went out the driver's side door, so that means she climbed over the seat. All while she was handcuffed. Girlfriend was, go ahead now. While Willard was looking for tools in the trunk, reports say.
According to the reports. The victim then ran toward Williston Road, where an 18-wheeler driver, Mr. Anthony Moore, saw her running in handcuffs from the woods. She asked him for help and said she was being kidnapped. Mr. Moore told deputies that he saw the suspect in a green Cadillac try to run the victim over, then drive off. A second witness was able to get the toy metal cuffs off the victim before the police arrived. The woman told Moore that Willard had taken her phone and diploma.
Diploma?
She said she graduated yesterday. She was frantic. She wasn't talking how I'm talking to you right now, or now, Moore said. The woman told dispatchers she wanted to stay at her father's house after graduating Thursday. She was walking home to her mother's house Friday morning when the Cadillac DeVille stopped her. Mr. Moore said, quote, the lieutenant came over and said, there's no doubt in our mind you saved her life. Because
amazing. And I believe he's a preacher, a minister, or some affiliation with Christianity. That was God. That was nobody but God.
We looked back at the fence back there. He cut the chain on the fence, end quote. Mr. Moore, the truck driver, is also a pastor and said he believes he was meant to be there. Quote, delayed divine timing. There is an appointed place for us to be at an appointed time, he said. The quick thinking of this teenage child to realize something was absolutely wrong. And possibly, in her mind, she may have believed that something was wrong, but there could have also been that doubt. What if this is a cop? What if this is possibly still law enforcement? What if it's just a really weird law enforcement officer? Regardless, she still did.
But I'm thinking, Dr. Richie, what he said, that she picked up on his vibes, because if you in tune with yourself, and if you in tune with the vibes around you, the room, your surroundings, you could pick up on evil vibes, because they just radiate off a person, they bounce back and forth. So she picked up on that. She picked up on that.
Did what she needed to do in order to protect herself, and thank God she did. Thank God she did. But I can't help to imagine if law enforcement in general behaved in a much more professional manner, that she may have known from the beginning this was not a professional law enforcement officer. But because law enforcement as a profession is so damn unprofessional, that an unprofessional, untrained individual is able to trick individuals in the community, including people who are being vigilant. Very thankful for this pastor. Very thankful for the safety of this young lady. And I'm hoping that there's true justice served to the individual who did this. Dr. Morgan, man, this could have been one of the saddest stories we've ever reported on at Indisputable. What say you?
Yeah, I mean, the option.
It's a good thing that we even know about it, because say if he carried out his evil deed, who would have known? We would have heard news report of a missing young teen.
Are endless, and none of them are good except for this one particular outcome. I also appreciate that you situated this instance within the system itself and not just with the perpetrator. I mean, it reminds me of growing up in Florida. My parents were always very diligent about making sure that I was aware of my own safety and making sure that I was aware that there are dangerous people out there. And I think at least for me, as I've gotten older, it's easy to forget that and go like, oh, that's.
That's a good shot, and that's a good thing that parents need to teach their children, to be aware of dangers like that. Whether your children, young adults, they need to know how the world is. Not everybody that come up to you with a smile on your face is your friend, or you can trust them. So you just really have to be aware. And it's a good thing that the children should be taught these things at home.
Just stuff you have to worry about as a kid. Maybe they were just paranoid parents, but no, there are people out there who embody levels of evil that are hard to even articulate. And I think that's what's going on here. And if I was that pastor,
not even articulate, but even hard to imagine. I mean, if you have like a nice brain and you don't have all this craziness, how you can imagine the evilness that people will inflict upon another person.
First of all, thank God for him. And second of all, yeah, I think he's totally right. He needed to be where he was at that moment. And it does seem pretty darn preordained to me. And it is one of those stories that makes you question all sorts of things about the police system, about one's humanity, about how we operate with our youth, especially, and our Black youth by the police officers, and about like the ideas of good versus evil and how these kinds of things are still happening every single day. So thank God it worked out as well as it did, because the other options are truly beyond horrifying.
Yeah. And I know you see the point of the affixing it to the system, because if officers routinely acted in a way that exuded professionalism, you could spot a fake cop a mile away. But because they don't, it is tough to tell. Man, it'd be tough for me to tell if there's a cop who's on the up and up or not, just based on the lack of professionalism we've seen prior from police officers.
I do agree with them. And like I said, there is some fake cops. I mean, some corrupt cops out there, whether they're fake or not. It's just hard to tell. So I'm going to read some of the comments, like maybe 3, 4, or whatever. All right. So the first comment said, there should be a call for a thorough investigation. This is too brazen a crime. It is possible there's other incidents. Right. And I do believe that he have done this before and may have gotten away with, his evil deeds that we don't know anything about. We just don't know who this guy is, where he come from, why he was in the area, or anything like that as of yet. But on the other police news report said that as of yet, now, there have been no one that came forth that had other experience running into this individual. And another comment said he needs to be dealt with quickly. Yes, wow, this is crazy. Absolutely. Yes, sir. To be deceived by evildoers. People voted for this current administration, deceive Republican Mitch McConnell and Lindsey Graham. White skin has been projected, has right. I guess that should be as right. Now the truth is out. Whites have to be exposed. Yeah, the evil ones does. There are some good white people, upstanding citizens, not all of them. But there is some corrupt ones in this current administration, and there's some current administrator himself. And there is nothing new under the sun. However, it is exposed on who is evil by choice because they were taught and chose not to change. Okay, one more. First, why was this young lady walking by herself in the first place? Well, she's not a child. I mean, she's a teenager. She can walk by herself. We as black people are acting irresponsibly in the first place. Okay, you got to explain that one. How are you being irresponsible by walking? Okay, my daughter or young son would never walk anywhere by themselves. Okay, that's your daughter or your young son. That's you. Okay? These God-fearing, racist, bigoted European Christians are pieces of dookie. She got the S there. Let your children walk or travel by themselves, and your child will become a statistic. Okay, now I would agree with that person who made that comment, but however, this wasn't a child. It wasn't a 5, 6, 7, 8-year-old child. This was a young teenager who had just graduated. I believe it says she was walking from her dad's house to her mother's house, or vice versa, whichever. But she's old enough to walk by herself unaccompanied. The question should be why should be reflected upon the person that had evil intent that approached her, which she was minding her own business, walking by herself with her diploma because she just graduated. So the question should not be why she is or were walking alone by herself. The question is what's up with that evil character who came in her path? She didn't go in his path. He came in her path. So I'm going to end this. I'm just going to say, let's keep the young lady in her family in our prayers that she comes out okay, that she doesn't have to, suffer from any long-lasting PTSD, because that was a troubling, horrifying experience that for anyone to experience. It's just horrifying to be approached by someone who claims to be someone they're not, and then put you in handcuffs, and then you pick up they're not who they say they is, and then you have to escape. That's truly terrifying. Okay, so with that, I'm going to end, and I'll see y'all in my next video. Be safe out there, y'all. We are living in troubled times.